I'm live. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Let me know that you can hear me and everything's working. I hope I fixed all the bugs, but we shall see. Unfortunately, I often have to fight with technology, but I usually think it's my own fault. I'm very relieved when it's not. But today, I'm really excited about today's project. I am going to make the Princess Leia costume from New Hope. And I've done a lot of research. I've overthought about this, overanalyzed it, and I'm super excited about this project. And I believe I can do it in a stream or two. I'm not making the accessories on the stream. I'm just making the dress. That's what we're going to focus on. It'll help a lot. I'm going to be using leftover wedding dress scraps to make this dress. I have a little slideshow just to help with images so that reference images. I can't even say it. Reference images. They help so much. So the fabric, when we first see her, it looks like a crepe de chine. A silk crepe de chine. I have something very similar. Here, let me go back to my fabric bucket right here. Okay, so I have this fabric, which is very similar to the fabric that she's wearing, but this is super lightweight. There is no way that I can do a single layer with this fabric. Isn't it beautiful though? This is a silk chiffon. It's very lightweight. It's gorgeous. I love it. This one is a skirt, but it's just a scrap to reference what the fabric should look like and feel like and kind of drape like. Now, this is just too sheer. Not going to work for this project. Could line it, but I don't want to do multiple layers. I want it to be as like hers as possible. This is the same kind of fabric. We call it a vegan silk, but it's just a polyester chiffon. Again, it still has the see-through problem, but it has a heavier drape. The silk is so fragile when it comes to moisture. Like, I wouldn't want to sweat in it. I wouldn't want to get spots in it. I wouldn't want to spot clean it. Like, if you want to clean it, I would clean the whole thing so it stays the same texture, because anytime we got spots on that fabric, if you had to clean off a little spot, it just made a bigger mess, and it is so delicate that I would not want to wear something that fragile. The polyester chiffon, oh my gosh, it has a great drape to it. This one's just, again, too lightweight, but these are the scraps that I have, so. It's also a woven, so it doesn't have any stretch in it, but it does have a good drape. But the fabric I am going to use, I may end up using this for the hood, but we'll circle back to that. This roll of fabric, you guys have it's hanging off. Of the table, like it's a really big piece. It's actually the same length as my table, wide, and then it's rolled up. The grain of this, the ribs go up and down this way. Wait, do they? Let me double check before I say that. Yep, they go this way. The ribs go this way, and this is the width of my fabric. They say that your wingspan is the same as your height, and this is a good 4 inches past my wingspan, so it's nice and wide. It's going to be wide enough to do a T-shaped dress pattern. T-shaped dress pattern. Let's go talk about dress patterns so that we can then... This is going to be a pain in the butt to wrestle and try and cut out on such a tiny table, but we're going to do it anyways because it'll be fun. But let me push this, just don't want to knock anything over. That's how safe I feel to push it. I don't think I'm going to push it all the way to the end, but let's talk pattern. Princess Leia. Let's go back to reference images. Reference images right here. There is no shoulder seam. It looks like the hood goes to her back. It looks to be about a 2.5 inch turtle neckline. The fabric drapes about, where's my measuring tape? I moved it twice now. Okay, let me take a measuring tape. I think it goes about 10 inches down from her elbow. Like, I feel like that would be a normal amount, and I'm gonna kind of, in my head, think about that about as the width. It's definitely gathered, and there is a slit at the knee. I totally blocked myself up. Fabric's hanging off the edge, and that makes me nervous. Never cut fabric with it hanging off the edge. Just don't do it. Don't do it. But I'm not cutting it right now, so it's just, we're gonna let it be, and I'll stop stressing about it. Okay, next picture. Let me see if I can switch to the next picture. Oh my gosh, I love it. Party City, Princess Leia. This pattern has shoulder seams. It is a stretch knit. There's an obvious bell. There are princess seams and a high slit with a high-heeled white boot. This is not actually half bad compared to what our original picture is, but I think we can do better than that. But I just wanted to kind of show you that a lot of people interpret it, I cannot speak, but we're doing this anyways, interpret this with the shoulder seams. This is a super drapey version. I don't think this is the exact same dress. It looks a little bit heavier of a fabric. And this is a close-up, and this is definitely a different fabric than in the first movie. It's a heavier weight. So I think this jersey that I have this giant roll of that I never talked about that I just realized is going to work out. I don't think they used a jersey, but I think a jersey will be comfortable. I think it'll be like running around in a giant t-shirt all day. And if I didn't want to, I don't have to do an opening in the back of the neck because it should stretch over the head and go back to the right neck size, because in a woven you wouldn't be able to do that, but in a stretch knit it should be completely doable. This is what I'm talking about. You can see in the back of her dress that there are hook and eyes closing the back of the neck because there's not a stretch. And see how sheer that creped de chine silk fabric is on her shoulders. It's a gorgeous fabric, but I think we're going to go with the stretch knit, the jersey knit. But however, I really do like how tight of a gather you can get on her hood. And I think I can do that with either the silk or the polyester chiffon. So I may do the hood a different fabric, but I might have just really big leftover pieces that I could use to make the hood. So we'll kind of leave it up to interpretation as we get there. Like, I haven't made up my mind. I never know what I'm going to be doing 100% until I start actually doing it. But talking it out helps. And this is a better image of the sleeve. There's no shoulder seam. There's no top of the arm sleeve, the arm seam on the sleeve, but there is a seam underneath the underarm that goes on. That's the same seam as the side seam. So, and then also looking at the hem, it looks like it's like, I had a better image of this where you could see up the sleeve, but I couldn't find it when I started making this PowerPoint. Look at that, just dated me. The slideshow. But, yeah, goes to her wrist. It looks like it's flared, but I think it's just the way it hangs because it's a T naturally. So I'm not going to over worry about flaring it. I'm just going to make sure that the sleeve is wide enough. Then it definitely comes up and to her body and then straight down, and it's gathered at the waist. and there is a slit about the little higher than her boots, and she has a short go-go boot on. I know it's not necessarily really a go-go boot, but that's what we would call them at the costume shop. You'd find those boots in the go-go boot box. And yeah, and her hood goes past her waistband. So kind of keep that in mind as I start to get this figured out. Okay, so the game plan is to make a T. So I'm going to take, this is where her shoulder seams are. I can draw and look at you guys at the same time. Super simple. This is going to be a fold. This will be on the fold. And I'm probably going to go to the edge of the fabric so I can fold it in to hem it. So whatever to the edges. And then I will sew from here. This is going to get cut and it's going to sew from here to here. So this is my pattern I have in my head. This is a half of the pattern. Actually, it's a quarter of a pattern because the fabric will be folded over. Anyways, that's the game plan. Are we ready to get there? I think I am. Let me say hi to everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. 45th Clown, you're first saying hello. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you. Hi, Mariah. How are you? You can be first, too. Big Bob's Prop saying hello. And hi, Ralph Mork. The 45th Clown thing. It's things like that that makes me realize I don't know the movie as well as I think. Princess had a hood. Yes, she has the hood on when she is at the droid. And my brain just completely farted. It's R2-D2 when she's putting in the plans for the Death Star. She's wearing her hood and she's like looking around. So it swooshes. But yes, but it's okay. It's a movie. You're allowed to just enjoy it. And it'll be fun. And hello, Will Connors and House of Oddities. Greetings, greetings. I totally butchered your name, but apparently I am struggling talking today. But we're doing this anyways. Let's get this going. Okay. Coffee and white fabric are not a good thing, so I'm going to take my last sip of coffee, put it away, and then I'm going to have to, so my shoulder to hemline is 53 inches, and I need to double that and also add a little wiggle room for shoulder, like depth and poofing and draping and wiggle room, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to double 55 inches as my starting length of fabric, and we'll kind of go down. We'll go from there. So okay, let me hold on, set this up. Somebody texted me right before we started and I had to tear it through my droid cam off, but I can share what I'm working on with you guys. I'm still here. I'm just over here. Hi. And setting up. There we go. All right, let's see if we can see my table space a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Here's the stuff weighs a ton. This is ivory 8-ounce organic cotton. It's what we use for the lining of the wedding dresses that we made. And I know it's ivory, but ivory looks white in the sunshine, and it's going to be the best match to the silk chiffon. This is the polyester. Here you go, the silk chiffon. They just go really well together. It's my favorite combination. But even if we don't do the silk, the poly chiffon isn't too far off. So, get this out of the way. House of Oddities, no, 1-0. One of the only people who got it right, LOL, it's just like Pulse. Oh, Pulse House of Oddities, I'll run in a minute, but watching the recap, good luck, thanks for what you do. And your inspiration, oh, thank you. Wolverine Scratch says, oh, Felicia, I missed you. Well, welcome. We're making a dress today, it's gonna be fun. Okay. This thing weighs a ton, and I'm trying not to hit camera equipment. Let's see, is this a better view of my struggling? Let's see. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But probably better because I just knocked over that camera. Okay. I have to measure out 110 inches. And this weighs almost as much as I do. No, really, but it's pretty dang solid. This is why I normally do it on the floor, but not white fabric. Let me see what we measured to already. Here's 55 inches. I need this doubled. So, scoot my chair for a second. That's 55. Almost right. I need to mark this. Marked it with a notch. Although this pin's easier to see. More fabric. Goes to right here. Let me mark this. Sorry about bonking the mic there. That's marked. Although, here's it with a pen. to catch some of your stream and learn about some sewing. I'm glad you're here. I feel like this is one of the easiest entry-level sewing projects you could possibly get into. So I hope this inspires you to not be afraid to sew. So let's do this. Welcome, Danda's Junk. I hope you're feeling better. Oh, and welcome, Yanalith. Okay, let me get this cut. I have it marked with a thing. I'm going to move all my fabric this way so I can have a flat line to cut it this way. And this fabric's way too big for this table. And let's go to the other camera so you can at least see if that shows a better view of all this fabric that I'm dealing with. Okay. So I'm going to roll it back up to my cutting spot just to make sure. That's my cutting line. Make sure no fabric's hanging off the edge of the table, but is laying flat and straight. I'd say it wasn't me, but it totally was me. Shh, don't tell. All right. Massive amount of fabric right here to cut. And I want to make sure that I cut it all straight. Okay. No breathing while I'm cutting. Okay. And it's cut. That's a little bit of the hard part, but then I realized I have to rebag this and get it out of the way so I can actually work with what I just cut off, this giant rectangle, but it'll be fun. Hold on. right here. Is it gone? Oh well. All right, let me get this out of here. Sorry about hitting that. I have fabric. Let's figure this out. All right, the grain line goes up and down with the selvage, so I'm going to fold it in half. Right sides together. There is a difference between the front and the back. Again, trying not to hit camera equipment. Did I cut it long enough? Let me double check my measurements, because with my luck, I might be a few inches off, but it's fine. Perfect. Phew. Okay, so it's folded in half, like, I was gonna say hamburger folded, now we're gonna hot dog fold it, but none of that makes sense. Yep, that's right where my centers. This is where my neckline would be. This is where my arms would be. So let's put this on the table. I think the camera will pick it up best if I do it this way. Okay, so I have a robe that is just a regular bathrobe, and it gives me an idea of how long my arm is, kind of how a regular bagginess would be. I'm going to increase it more than this because, again, the sleeve is bigger and it's a blousier robe, but it's going to give me a reference point of kind of where I'm at, because I know the sleeves are the right length. I know my shoulder to shoulder is where it needs to be. And I think it will be just a good starting point. And I feel like most people have a robe or t-shirt or something that has, it's a starting point. You know how it fits you, and then you kind of base it on that. Let me just really line up my edges. What am I? Oh. Line up my edges. 1, 2. If I lay it out straight, it will lay straight. It's worth it to take the time. Okay. But, oh, this thing weighs. So I'm going to fold this in half. And let me try my other camera, see if this is going to help a little better. Okay. So you have the arms. Here's the shoulder to shoulder. And we're going to fold it in half. is a good starting point. Now let's go to kind of our reference images here now. And let's try this one. I think this is a good one. So it's a tight jewel neckline, so we're going to do a regular neckline. And the sleeves, I think, let's look at what it's looking like on here. What's this measuring? All right, this is a foot. I'm not opposed to it. I thought I was going to want to do it at 10 inches, which is right here. But that doesn't quite feel like it's enough. I think I'm going to try at a whole, this is going from the fold at the top. I'm going to do a whole 12 inches. And let me go to this camera. Hold on 1 second. I need, oops. Good thing I didn't have you guys on the camera when I boxed it. I swear I hid everything from me before I started the stream. I was like, oh, it's right there. Let me hide it so I can't find it when I need it. There it is. Okay. Bag full of all the things. All the things. All the things. Okay. Let's go to this. So this is the top fold up here. And I'm going to go all the way to here with the sleeve. And then this is the waist. I want to increase that to about here. But I think I want to do it down about here. And want to make sure that I have some sleeve before it starts curving into the robe. So I think I'm going to do a dramatic turn. Continue this out to here. My sleeve only goes to here, but I'm going to cut the whole T. Okay. And right about here is the slit on my robe, which actually hits pretty darn good of a spot for my go-go boots that I'm currently wearing, so I'm going to mark that. And let's just cut it. I'm not flaring out because I don't think it really flares out as much as it's just wide. So I'm keeping it fairly straight of a hemline. This is totally wide enough and long enough for me to make a hood out of this fabric to not be wasteful, so we'll see. Put this to the side. I'm over here looking for my measuring tape. Like my mom said, if it was a snake, it would bite me. It would have bit me. But now all we have to do is cut out the neckline. And really like this measuring tape because every side is starts at 1. Oh yeah, my phone is my second camera. I was going to use it as my calculator. Hold on, let me just do side math then. Ouch. Not a single pencil I have in here. Sharp, I will use a permanent marker and I will write on this scrap card. Okay, so 14 times 3. I think I'm going to do it at 15 inches because I want to have, no, that would give me only a 1/2 inch seam allowance on either side, and I think I want to have more wiggle room than that. But I don't want to go up to 16 inches because then that's a whole inch on either side. 15.5. 15.5. I think that's what I'm going to do for the pattern piece for the neck. Yeah. Because I don't want it to be tight. I am using the stretchier fabric, but I also need to leave seam allowance. All right, sorry, thinking in my head. Okay, let me cut out the necklines. I'm gonna go down 1 inch at the center back. And for the front, I'm gonna go down about 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, because that's my personal measurement. Oh, here. Okay, so I'm marking at the neckline. For my back, I'm gonna cut it about 1 inch down. This is a little over 1 inch. And then I'm going to do 3.5 inches from the fold for my front neck measurement. And my shoulder to shoulder is about I think I'm going to do this around. Do I want to do there? Okay, let me. I like coming from this angle. I'd rather come at this angle. take out all these pins. Okay, let me unpin this so I can separate it so I can cut the front neckline. The back neckline and the front neckline have to line up at the shoulder seam anyway, so I just cut out the front and back on the fold because I'm going to lower the front. Okay. Let me mark. Let's, what I am going to separate it. Match up shoulder seam to shoulder seam. Fold. All right, I'm making sure that my fabric is on the fold, that we have center front and center back lined up. I probably should have marked it, but I cut it on the fold so it does line up. All right, there we go. I just have to make sure this is all flat. And I'm battling giant bulk, so let's look at it. All right, what is this giant pile? Right here's my neckline. Right here is my center front of my neckline. It's lined up at my shoulder seam right here, and then this is my center back of my neckline. Let me put a little pin right here at my center back, and one right here at my shoulder seam, which is right here. So I'm gonna blend from my shoulder seam right here and I'm going to blend it all the way down to here. But I'm going to get on the other side because I think I can cut it at a better angle from there. If you start going straight for a quarter to a half an inch before you start rounding, you won't get any funny points at the center. I'm going to keep these marked on my pattern so it's easier to reference next time. My shoulder seams, center back, and center front. So I have pins everywhere that I need them. Let me go back to this camera. Hi, everybody. Okay. I actually have something that I could throw up on a mannequin and try, so we can see if it's at least the right width, length, etc. So I'm going to attach it at the side seams because I forgot the slip ones were still together. Okay. Dress form. Sleeves, and I haven't made her belt yet, but I do have not the most stable of dress forms, but I do have this belt, which is kind of close enough. Left it a little loose so I can play with the gathers. So this, in order to have full arm movement, would need to be up here. Hang up that way. Here. I don't want to stretch out the neckline, so I'm just going to pin it so it's not hanging on the neck. Okay, so now I have to do the collar and the hood. This fabric's heavier than the drape that I was imagining. I think it's more of the drape of this dress. I feel like this one has more of the same fabric. It's not sewn in the right seams yet, so it doesn't have the correct. But that sleeve seems about wide enough. Let me look at the other picture. That's the back of her neck. We'll get there. Yeah, I feel like this is a good sleeve width for now. DJ Stumpy, hello. This looks like an interesting make. Sadly, it's 11 p.m. here, so I'll have to sign out soon. Welcome, DJ Stumpy. Okay. Let's figure out the neckline. That one should be fairly easy to cut out. Let me go back to the other one where we have a picture of the back. Looks like it has hooks and eyes. And there's definitely a slit in the hood. My brain is thinking. Okay. Eonolith. Okay, back. Internet went out for a bit, but I'm back. Well, welcome, Eonolith. Rolf Morg. Past midnight over here. It's kind of cool to see what time it is when you guys are here, because this is in the afternoon for me. I still have plenty of time to get this thing finished, so I better get on it. Okay. Question. You guys help me answer this one. Should I do a self fabric in this weight for the hood, which is a heavier jersey knit, or should I do the polyester chiffon or the silk chiffon? This is the polyester chiffon. This is just a big piece. This is the silk chiffon. They're all just pieces of white fabric. Here's her back. This is the silk. Feels very bridal, which I'm not opposed to, but it is very sheer. I don't hate it. I don't know. This is the polyester, which I actually like the weight a little bit better of. I thought I'd like the silk better, but I kind of like the weight of this one. Or do we just definitely match it? and go with the self fabric where it's 100% the same color and drape. Chew on it for just a minute. I definitely want your opinions. Probably how it attaches on separate from the rest of the robe. I honestly think that it has the way the hood is shaped, that it's more, that there's definitely an opening there. But yes, it's how it, you have to be able to get in and out of it. Those were clips in the back of her neck. Those look like hook and eyes to me, but I could be wrong. But there's definitely a closure at the back of her neck. Ionolith is voting silk chiffon. I thought I'd want the silk chiffon, but it feels a little lightweight for me, and I'd rather... I haven't 100% made it out. Mariah, silk please. You know what? If I do the silk, I don't hate the silk. Dan does junk is if it's so, I'd be better to match it. So this definitely is the safe bet. And 45th Clown, with the heavy fabric drag the dress down on the back. I like the same fabric though. Okay, so the heavy fabric is not going to drag the dress down. I just wouldn't have to make it as wide. If I'm going to use the silk, I'm going to use a lot more because I can fit a lot more gathers in there. And that way, here, let me show you on the slideshow. See how many gathers are in the back of the neck? Like if you take an inch of those gatherings, there's at least 24 little teeny tiny gathers in that section. And you could totally get a lot of gathers in a silk fabric. If you use a heavier fabric, your gathers are going to be bigger and bulkier. But I don't think it's going to be a bad thing with this one. Ionolith says they were metal garment clips. It could be hook and eyes. It could be pant hook clips. There's a lot of different things that they could have used for that. None of them would be wrong, but there's definitely an option, a closure at the back where you could eliminate that with the stretch knit fabric and not even have to think twice about it. But in a silk fabric, you definitely need to be able to get your head in and out, especially with those buns. Yeah, they did use a very lightweight fabric. You can see right through her shoulder. You can see the pink of her skin. That is a crepe de chine. I totally butchered it, but I like it. It's a beautiful fabric. The silk I have would be that sheer, if not sheer, so we're going definitely with the jersey instead of the silk. But on the hood, I feel like we could go either way. So I'm still going to chew on it, but while I'm chewing on it, I'm going to make the neck. The neck. Yeah, the turtleneck collar piece. I am going to use the extra fabric that I have. Okay, let me change at least the image on the slide so you guys can think about that hood. Because see, this is the same dress that they made again, and it's a heavier weight fabric, and the hood's the same fabric. So honestly, it can go either way, but I want your opinions. Ooh, Ionolith says, I have the visual dictionary for the classic trilogy and showed those clips in that dress. Oh, that's awesome. So they're, yeah, maybe both fabrics, see how they end up feeling/behaving. Not a bad idea. Okay, let me... All right, let me go to... polyester chiffon right here, silk chiffon right here. I feel like the silk matches the color better, but it's so sheer that I don't know if I hate it. I don't know if I hate it. Anyways, 15 inches. Let me just do it on this side. I've only recently started using my measuring tape for fabric, and I gotta say, it makes doing circle skirts so easy. I need to do more circle skirts, but it's a little hard with my tiny table for the live stream. Maybe I'll do a mini circle skirt. That might be a good one to do. All right. And do this on camera as much as I can. So it's 4 inches by 15 inches. With the slightest amount of wiggle room. I don't know if this is big enough. You know what? Yeah. Let's see. So, jewel neckline, this length, right about here. It's not too close to my neck. Not too. Yeah. And a 1/2 inch of that is going to be in seam allowance, so I think this will work just fine. And now I'm finally double checking my direction, but I picked it out in the right direction. Okay, let's count and tally up who says silk and who says polyester and who says self fabric. So we had Ionolith was for the silk, poly, and self. Because they definitely didn't use polyester in those movies because you need moisture wicking. LOL. But silk is so fragile. But yes, they totally use silk. But this isn't polyester. This is 100% cotton. 100% organic cotton. It's from Wedding Dress Production. If you go to wearyourlovexo.com, that's the wedding dresses that this made. They're gorgeous. Let's see. Does it take a while to burn up your hair? If not, maybe bun up your hair. If not, maybe you should just because of what you're making. Yes, I will definitely have to do the buns. Okay. Dan does junk. I'm not sure which one you voted for. 45th Clown voted self fabric. Mariah said silk, so got to count Mariah's vote. How does the hood drape and behave in the movie? It's very silky. Am I missing anyone else's vote? I'm really into my microphone right now. Let's see. Go over here. All right, it looks like I have 2 for silk and 2 for self. Any tiebreakers in there? Oh, Danda's Junk voted for self fabric. So anybody want to change their vote or update their vote? We have a few more seconds while I think about the pattern. Okay, let's see. The hood has a slit in the back because I was considering it needs to gather. And it needs to hit the right part of the back. So how long does it really need to be? Let's measure. It's 15 inches from the back of the dress to the belt, and hers goes ever so slightly past the belt. I think about 17 inches would be fine, but if we did 30 inches, let's see what that would measure to be. This is 39 inches, 38. It's a little over a yard. Okay, 45th Clown says, I vote silk because it's watching a new material being sewn. So we have another vote for silk. So we're 3 and 3. Nobody's enjoying the polyester. Okay. Even if I don't use this as my fabric, I'm going to definitely use this as my pattern because it is a very good shape. Let me just line all of these things up. Lay it as flat as I possibly can. It suddenly got quieter in here and I realized that Toby stopped snoring, so if you hear him, that's Toby. Okay. Let me line up the edges on this fabric because it's not straight. But it's laying flat, so right here. Oh good, I wasn't on the other cam when I got a text message. Don't worry, I'm only live. Okay. I'm thinking. This is how you cut silk. You snip it at the seam allowance and it will tear straight of grain. Ah. There we go. So this would gather here. To here. In person, I prefer the cotton, the self fabric. The silk is just not quite right, and not quite right, that it makes you think it's not quite right. I think we're gonna do a better look if we do the self fabric. This has a little bit of structure and shape when it's on the head as a hood. Put some cinnamon buns in there, you know. And it will gather up right into the shoulder seam right about there. My hair is totally in the way. This is not being helpful. But the silk over the head is very drapey. With the gathers, it's not an automatic no, but if we are at a tie and I get to be the tiebreaker, I'm gonna go with the self fabric. I agree, 45th Clown, it would be fun to have a new fabric in there. But the silk is really easy to sew with. There's nothing we need to stress out about it. Yeah, okay. Him and Han, let's just do it. Take this off. I have my I'm doing all stretched knit. I don't have to do the slit in the back. I don't know if I'm going to do the slit in the back. Should I do the slit in the back? Yeah, I should do a slit in the back. I'll do the slit in the back. All right, let me get this neckline figured out. Here is my neck. Let me put the right sides together. Take out these pins. And okay. Ow! I'm bleeding. Okay. This will be so much easier if I just do it as like a stretch rib neck. Then I can just pull it over my head and not have to think about it after that. Even with the hood and everything. I could do those clips. I don't have any right now, but it's not like they aren't hard to get. No, 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 I'll do the slit. I'll just do it. I'll just do it. Okay. Just need a hand. You guys can see better. Nope, you guys cannot even see my thing, but I have the hand helping me just hold this serger thread so it doesn't go away when I start to thread my bobbin. The reason you normally don't use serger thread for regular bobbin thread is because it's only 2-ply instead of 4-ply, but hi! I wasn't expecting that camera. I clicked the wrong one. There we go. Better. Hi. Oh, I have to plug this in. I have this one. And Mariah Wood sewing the Death Machine. No, this isn't Death Star. This is Little Brother, like the dog from Mulan, because it's a brother, and I keep thinking Little Brother every time I see it. So in my head, this machine is named Little Brother. Danda's junk. I recently had to rethread my wife's serger again. She needed all white thread. I won't do that on a live stream anymore. I just know better. No more sergers on live streams. I have learned my lesson. But hers was, Leia's dress wasn't serged. You can see up the arm sleeve. There is definitely a pressed open seam. So, yeah. I am winding up the bobbin so I have all white thread. I had pink in there last. There you go. Okay. I have the muscle memory down for the sewing machine that when I go to a different machine it throws me off, but I do like this machine a lot. All right, I am going to choose a stretch stitch. On this machine, it's 39. And before I commit to using my actual fabric and screwing it up with my first few stitches, I'm just going to use a little test piece of some of the fabric I cut off earlier. See if this is the length and stitches that I want to do. So far, so good. Not bad. I am at a 3. I think I might switch to a 4 and increase the stitch length ever so much. Let me try again. I had my tension a little loose. Yep, that works. But this needle needs to be changed because it is skipping stitches. All right, I was sitting here. There it is. Needle pack. Ralph Mork, I'm off to bed. Almost 1 a.m. here. See you on Sunday at Odin's. See you Sunday. I'm actually really excited about that because we're going to be getting some more pieces for our proton packs. Which needle do I want? Let me use this one. It doesn't really particularly matter as long as your needle's brand new, but if you're having issues with your sewing, it most likely is your needle, and having the right needle will probably solve most of your issues. You use a ballpoint needle on stretch knits because then it will go between the ribs and not snag your fabric. And you use a sharp needle on your wovens because it stabs right into it and it goes in easier. You use like this triangular needle for leather because it cuts the leather to make a big hole. Oh, I did wrong sides. Nope, I did right sides together. Okay, just making sure. All right, I'm just going to finish these edges. Yes, Ralph Mork. Very excited to see how you like the parts I made. I'm really excited. I am impressed that you were able to do that from all the way. Whoops. Sorry, I cannot think and sew at the same time or talk. And I'm turning them so I have my points. And then this is my center back on both sides. So I'm going to fold it in half and mark my center front. Marked the center front with a white pin on my dress. So I'm going to mark the center front with the white one on my thing, and then shoulder seams. When I do wedding dresses, I color coordinate my pins. So my shoulder seams are like, my left one will be blue and my right one will be green, or center back, and then there's center front. I just color coordinate everything, so from a glance I know exactly what I'm looking at and how the pieces get put together, and it's never, oops, I sewed this the wrong way because red goes to red. You know what I mean? Okay, shoulder seam, shoulder seam. All right, so the same seam that I'm attaching this neckline into, I'm also going to be attaching my hood. I am going to be using the piece that I cut out from the dress as my piece, and it's 36 inches long and 18.5 inches wide, and so it'll be 18 inches finished. I'm going to do the salvage edge I'm leaving on it because that's where I'm going to sew the back seam. To about where the slit should go, which would be right about here. Center black is marked with, you know what? The shoulder seams are black, so I'm going to put the center back as red. Hold on. That's this one right here. Center back is red. Okay, center back is red. That's blue. Center back, center back. So this would be the side seam. So center back, this would be our shoulder seam. This would be shoulder seam. And right sides of the fabric together. This is the right side. It's really hard to tell which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side of this fabric. But it's not impossible. All right, right side, center back, shoulder seam. So, center back, center back. And shoulder seam to shoulder seam. And shoulder seam to shoulder seam. All right, so now I have this pin is my center front right here. Right here I have my center back, and I did not sew my back seam of my hood. I may leave it open because I think hers might be a loop, but we'll see. This is all the fabric that has to gather into this right here, which is the shoulder, the back neckline, the shoulder to the back of the neckline. So I fold it in half, find the centers. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. It's not a big deal. Let me pin on this hood, and then that'll be a good stopping point so that it can all get sewn together on the next live stream. There and here. Ouch. For all this gathering, I am just using the yellow quilting pins because they are just doing their job. They're not marking where seams are supposed to be. They are just helping me gather. Find the center to the center. I really like keeping my gathers even, so marking centers really does help. Turn this off. Hold on one sec. Put this down. All right. Much better. I don't feel so claustrophobic. Okay. This is not the most efficient way to do the gathers, but it is a very even way to do the gathers, and I'd rather do it right the hard way than have to do it a couple times the quote-unquote easier ways. Look at how many pins I have in this little slot. That's just 1/4. Center to center. You know, the silk chiffon may be the right fabric for Leia's other dress that has the sleeves, those big giant crazy sleeves. That might be a fun use of that fabric. Gather, center, center. Ouch. Nothing like a bowl full of pins. Okay. So this side is gathered. This side has not been gathered. And there are no gathers in the front seam. And I have not sewn up the side seams yet. So here. If I take my time pinning, the sewing goes so much easier. So I'm just really taking my time and pinning this very nicely. We have been really in project mode because I have not gotten off topic really this stream, which is kind of cool. But yeah. Making progress. Oops. Don't worry, everybody's watching. If I make a mistake, I can see what I did later just when I rewatch the stream. Yeah, I think this is the right drape. I really do. You smoosh it and you smoosh it, and then eventually you have something. This is where I'm talking about this fabric's bulkier, so it's going to have bulkier gathers, but I'm not hating it. They're showing up. I think this will photograph well because it is it's ivory instead of white, but it photographs very white, but it's not going to blast out the cameras. You kind of want to avoid using whites when you're doing photo shoots in broad daylight. Not saying that this will be in broad daylight, but a little butter in the frosting really does help with not blasting out whites when you want to show off your work. Well, at least with wedding dresses. I used to joke, it's 50 shades of white and they all matter. They really do. They really, really do. Almost. It's starting to look like the hood. Yay! It feels right, and it's coming together. You're being tricky. Okay. It's a hood. It's a sleeve. It's the right shape. It's the right size. It's the right drape. Danda's junk looking hood. Love it. And all I did was use a strip of fabric because I swear that's how her hood was made. Like the way it drapes. So center back. Did I put the hood in the wrong layer? This is my right side. This is my right side. This is my right side. This is my right sides together. So then we're going to flip it. And it'll be sewn like this. And the sorry, I'm just loop-de-looping how this pattern's supposed to fit together because this needs to sandwich in there, and I think right sides all the way around. Yeah, it's this way. Yeah, because the neck needs to be on the inside of the hood. Okay, I'm not going to pin it. I'm just going to call it a day because my brain is going to sleep on this and go, oh, duh, that's how you do it. But the hood is pinned and gathered. The neckline is ready to go. All the pieces are cut out and the right size and shape, and all we have to do now is sew them together. So thank you everybody who joined me on this live stream. Let's finish this up next week. I know I tried to go live on Tuesday, wasn't able to. I can on Wednesdays. Wednesdays are just not a good day for me. And so next Tuesday I'll go live at, I'll try for 3:30, and if not, we'll do it later in the evening. Yes, I skipped a bunch of weeks. That's because I was working on other projects. They were really cool. Can't really talk about them yet, but I'm really excited about the projects that I was able to work on, even though I wasn't able to go live or stream. But I will be able to go live on Tuesday. We will do all the sewing. This is cut out. It is ready to go. All it really needs to do is be stitched together. I'll really explain the neck, what I'm doing at the neck, much better. And I probably will have the bandwidth to do the closures correctly. So, yay. Thank you, 45th Clown. Thank you for the stream. Great having you back again. I appreciate it. It's really hard once I got off of the role of doing them every week to do them again. Get up the bravery to come face y'all again. But having a really fun project like this to work on definitely got me going, because now I'm going to have a really cool dress. So I will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks again. Bye.